I'm in this weird space where I got burned out on the I don't know, I don't want to call them indie, but the Oscar bait, the ones that are supposed to be good
Yeah.
quality. I got kind of like, "Oh, I'm just tired of these movies," and I think I probably shared this already. The three billboards outside Ebbing, Missouri. That movie kind of broke me.
So that was the year then. So I think that was 2017 that came out, I want to say. So that was the year that it was just kind of,
It's
all
just
right, I'm done.
yeah, It was Shape of Water. I kept falling. I saw that movie twice and fell asleep both times. I'm not exaggerating. Um,
Wow.
and so I've been angry at movies since
Yeah.
then. And my solution, instead of continuing to find quality and uncover gems and kind of watch the stuff that's under the radar that's actually better than the blockbusters, my solution has just been to just give me the slop, give me the blockbusters, give me the garbage,
I
and I'll
mean,
just
do you think it's because of the podcast?
well, yeah, the podcast drove me nuts, and I quit.
Yeah. For the how many times have you quit now? I don't know.
Twice.
Yeah, probably twice where you were like, yeah, I can't do it.
Yeah,
But
but my love of movies keeps bringing me back. No, I watch a lot. Like I think we were just on Gutting the Sacred Cow, which should come out in a couple of weeks. I'll rewatch like random shit. Like I watched the Thing. I watched Gremlins. I'll watch just like weird random stuff. By the way, The Thing is awesome. John Carpenter's The Thing. Um, and so I'm just kind of like nothing appeals to me. Kind of it. Whereas I felt like I used to be on the hunt for. Oh, this is was it Banshees of Inisherin or something like
the
that?
Banshees of Inisherin, yep.
Inisherin, yeah, because I like Colin Farrell. I think he's really been underrated throughout his career, and I might be like, oh, I want to see him, or I want to see who's this new director, kind of a thing. Maybe I'll find that almost like the way you would search for a band or something like that.
Right.
That's kind of the way I felt about film. Although, and we're going to get to it, Damien Chazelle was one of those types, but I just haven't felt the draw. And so I've just kind of like resigned myself to the slop. It's,
I think they call that depression. Uh,
yeah, it's
that's
been it's
you're
been
not
a
interested in the things you used to be interested in, you just kind of just going through the motions. Now I go through those lulls where I'm just like, I don't care. Like, well, first of all, it's so overwhelming. We're just bombarded with content. We're bombarded with like the little films, yes, but also the huge blockbusters that come out, which we're going to talk about. And it's just, there's just so much out there. So especially when you're podcasting about it, it just, I think, amplifies it even more. Like, you find those hidden gems when you don't do a podcast. Like I remember when we rekindled our friendship back in the day. We were texting back and forth just about movies and, hey, have you seen this movie? You seen that movie? And it was just like, hey, you want to come on my show? It's just like, but it was just like kind of casual, just kind of thing. So I think it became work for you is
a little bit.
my theory. It's
That's
not even
true.
a theory. I think that is the case. I think.
That's pretty close. Although I'll also add that I watch more TV series
Yeah.
than I used to, so I'm more likely to try something, and most of them aren't very good. But like, okay, so House of the Dragon, I watched all of that and loved it, and we didn't
Yeah.
talk about it. Not that we have to, but I could have done I'm passionate about House of the Dragon.
Right.
Um,
I
yeah.
Yeah, I love that show too. Well, I mean, I watched it. Yeah, I would say I loved it, but I'm just saying, yeah, we don't do shows on it. Yeah, I just feel like there's just so much to do. It's just like we got to kind of pick and choose what we do.
Yeah.
And we're a kind of a movie first podcast, it seems.
Clearly.
So,
Yeah, so my tastes have kind of shifted more towards TV.
yeah, and I don't blame you. I mean, there's more story to tell. It's an hour and then you can wait a week sometimes, or
Yeah, it's easier to sample.
yeah, exactly. Or if it's binge, that's even nice too, because you can just get through it and watch this big epic of a story and it's satisfying.
Yeah. And I've become so I used to use Rotten Tomatoes as a guide or, critic reviews as a guide. And now I don't believe in any of it
Yeah.
anymore.
No,
I'm
I don't either. It's all skewed. I mean, it seems like ever since I've been podcasting, it's skewed. Like I started in 2016, and like it's skewed since then. Like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's just gone up. It's either, first of all, on IMDb, if people don't vote it a 10, they voted a 1. You know, and then
Yeah.
Rotten Tomatoes, everyone focuses on that way too much because that's what the critics say, and it's just you can't, you gotta make some decisions for yourself.
Yeah.
Don't stop looking at ratings. Does this movie look like an interesting movie to you? Yes. Okay, go see it or
Right.
watch
So
it when it's on streaming. You know, you don't have to pay money.
100%. Also, there are very few 10s and there are very few 1s. But yet that's where we are now. Like really, a 10, what's a 10? I mean, you're talking
That's what I'm saying. When people say 10, they liked it. It's either so if you
Yeah,
don't
it's
like a movie or you liked it, there's no in between
Yeah,
with
exactly.
anyone. You know,
Yeah.
it's just, and that's how it is. You know, it's just like, oh, that gets 6 point something on IMDb. Oh, that must be terrible.
Exactly. And Rotten Tomatoes, we all know how it works, but yet it still plays in our brain. Which when you see that number from 1 to 100, it doesn't, we all know what it means. It's just some percent said positive and some percent said negative. But it leads, it's still like, it's not what it's deliberately tricking you, I think.
No,
when
definitely.
we're like, well, actually, Rotten Tomatoes, it doesn't actually mean that 82% loved it. Right. Okay, we get it, but when it's there to kind of tell you that that's what it means.
Right. Yeah. I mean, we should be able to trust it, but at the same time, everything's subjective. You know, you like what you like. But I was saying how things are skewed. Like I used to look at IMDb ratings. Like if it was at least a 7, I was like, all right, it's going to be decent.
Yeah.
But now I'm leaning more towards the 6s because it's like people are so more skewed with their ratings. Like I'm just like, well, I think 6 is the new 7. You know,
No, I agree. It seems you can't trust it anymore.
Yeah.
And what I would like is, there's probably somebody out there that I can trust, but I was a big Robert Ebert fan.
Yeah.
Growing up.
Great documentary, by the way, on him.
Yeah. Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
If Robert Ebert liked something or didn't like he was a very good barometer for my taste in general. And he reviewed movies. I think maybe that influenced our approach too, which is you evaluate every movie on its own. Right.
Right.
I don't know. The movie Elf, that can be a 4-star movie. Because it did what it wanted to do. You know, you don't measure it up against The Godfather 2.
Exactly.
Kind of a thing. And I think he had that great approach to films. I recall his review of Step Brothers. Oh, this would be great to look up. He absolutely hated it.
Is there a video on it or just written word?
I don't know if he did a video, but because I think this was 2008. I don't know if he was still doing TV then. And he called it like something like like wanton violence and no humor. He was probably thinking of that one where they bury each other and try to kill each other.
Right, yeah.
It's just
burying you.
Yeah.
It wasn't the nutsack on the drum set. It was the burying you part that he drew the line. He's like, nope, not for me. No.
But we need more. I think we need more Robert Eberts in the world.
Yeah.
Rather than some rating system, which is just totally stupid now. It's broken.
I think that's where we come in. We're a podcast. People come in and listen because they connect with us, and you know, if they find similar tastes, you know, that's kind of how I was with the whole Collider crew for a while, like Christian Harloff and things. Like I was like, I trust him because I've noticed that we kind of have similar tastes.
Yeah,
we don't always connect all the time, but so I think people need to start finding their critic more, like their go-to person that they trust. That okay, if they don't like it, I'm most likely not going to like it, but I'll still give it a chance. But you know, I think we need to do more of that than just look at a number. Oh, Rotten Tomatoes this, IMDb this. Okay, well, I
Yeah.
won't give it a chance.
Yeah,
So
I think that's a great take.
I think,
We're here for everybody.
yeah, that's what we're here for. And kind of to segue, I know you've been so like blockbusters are kind of your thing now, and Blockbuster Mentality is our show name. So great
Hey,
choice.
very on brand.
So yeah, the blockbuster. Like, is it just because you just want the indie is just too much for you right now? Like, it's just
Nothing's grabbing me.
yeah,
There hasn't been one, well, other than Babylon, which we'll get to. There hasn't been one movie I've seen a preview for. Even The Fablemans. Honestly, I just kind of know what the movie is, and I heard your review, and you kind of told me what I thought.
yeah,
It was a great review, and I didn't feel like I missed anything because I kind of just got what I was gonna. Unless you said like you have to see this movie,
right, yeah.
or this movie, does something extraordinary. And I came away because I didn't get that from your review. Just coming away feeling something. And you might push back a little, but that's kind of what you just kind of confirmed what I feel, and I feel like that's also what's kind of going on out there in the review
Yeah,
space as well.
I guess you're right. Yeah, and I would agree with you on that review. Like, yeah, I would say if you're a Spielberg fan, see it, but it's not a rush out and see it. You know what I mean? Like, it's if you're feeling like you're not gonna be disappointed that you waited. Like
Yeah.
oh, why didn't I watch this sooner or something? It's like how am I just watching this now?
And I'm also the kind of person who, this is unpopular and probably wrong, but I don't feel that Spielberg has really done anything truly great since the mid 1980s. That's my opinion, but
Yeah, I mean, you got Schindler's List and Saving Private Ryan in the
I can kind of
90s.
take or leave him. Honestly, I
Okay.
could, because the opening of Saving Private Ryan is fantastic,
That's
but
the movie.
that's literally the movie. That's a 45-minute short film. The rest of it, I don't care.
Short film that's going to be in my review of Babylon, actually. But we'll get to that. So speaking of blockbusters, I know you saw Avatar: The Way of Water.
I did.
know you've been looking forward to this, and you liked the first one. So yeah, let's tell us about it. Tell us about Avatar.
So I know the first one is contentious in fandom. A lot of people hate it. A lot of people, or people such as yourself, Ben. I think you put this in your top 10 overrated of the 2000s.
Yeah, I think it was our first show ever together.
There was
our overrated show, and yeah, I put this in my top 10 overrated.
Yeah, we used to do
Remember?
That's a deep cut.
That is a deep cut. I would like to do some of those again. The top 5 at least. But yeah, it was in my overrated.
Yeah, and so many people feel that way. They feel like they didn't connect to the film. On the other side are a lot of people who loved it. I was one of those people. I loved the first Avatar. What I really loved, I think more than anything, you get dazzling visuals. But what I really liked was the main character, Jake Sully. I loved the idea. First, I love the idea of the Avatar itself, just the concept of what that is. And then how a character goes in and out of their humanity and then into the Avatar. And I thought the movie did a really good job of kind of his mental strains, his physical strains. Like, where am I now? I'm like, I'm waking up in my human body, and of course I'm disabled. And then I go to this other place where I'm a Navi. And then I'm learning about these people, and he's kind of getting drilled by both sides. When he wakes up as a human being, everyone is on his ass about not knowing the language or what's the mission. We got to find the big tree,
Right?
And then when he's a Navi, he's failing because he's just not as good as them. And I love that. And then when he connects to the Banshee, to me, when he kind of conquers that to come up to this crazy animal, and then you connect the tail to the thing, I don't know. It's all silly, but
but
when it works, and then he can actually fly this thing, I find it, to me, that's movie magic to me. It's that it brings up, it's visual. It's not just visuals for their own sake. It's visuals. It is literal visual storytelling that evokes emotion in you. And we get some of that in Top Gun Maverick, and it's not just, oh, the CGI is good. It goes much more beyond that. So that's why I like the first one. Now, when I heard there was a sequel,
And
Everyone has heard
then
there is a sequel. For how long? Go ahead.
yeah, no, I was just gonna say, and then just before you get into the sequel, I have not seen it, and Dave has not seen Babylon, so we're doing two
Yeah,
different reviews.
twofer.
Dave's telling me what he thinks of Avatar, and I'm gonna tell him what I think of Babylon. So
Yeah,
yeah, Avatar 2, you heard it was coming out.
great setup. And we'll try to be no spoiler, right?
Yeah, no spoiler, because I don't
Yeah.
want to spoil it for you, and I kind of don't want to be spoiled by Avatar. If you let
Yeah,
one
because I do
slip,
want to
I'm
see
okay.
Babylon. Yeah, great. So what are we? 13 years into a sequel, which is being
Yeah,
worked on.
2009, the first one came out. Yep.
Yeah. Would you think like for the? I think it's the highest grossing movie of all time. You think they would have like, hey, let's fast track this sucker,
Right.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just get that money with the cigars in their mouth.
Yeah. And in fact, I think I just saw something today that Edie Falco, who's in this film, said she shot her scenes like 4 years ago and thought the movie had already come out yet or
I
something
didn't
like that.
realize it was in production that long. Yeah,
Yeah.
I saw that quote too. Yeah, she was like, when someone told me it was out, I thought it came out and flopped. Like I didn't know it came. It had come
Surprising,
out.
right? That's why, like, when you hear, I think it was Will Ferrell who says he never watches any of his own movies. Like, why would you, right? It's like,
I real on a tangent, real quick. I understand why people wouldn't want to do that, but at the same time, I find it disrespectful to the other people involved, like the people holding mics and the people getting food for you every morning and the director and the writer. But anyway, that's
what if it's just a job, though? I mean, what if
that's true too. I get it. Like I said, I get it. I wouldn't make it public as much as, because if I were like a key grip or some random position on a movie set, I'd be like, oh, he didn't even watch it. Or if I edited it, like,
Yeah.
oh, all right, fine.
Well, you think
But-
she'd have some knowledge of whether or not it came out? I don't know.
Yeah,
Anyway,
exactly. Yeah.
but this movie's been going on for a long time, and so the James Cameron is what he is.
Yeah.
You have very clearly drawn characters. There's not a lot of nuance. I mean, in any of his films, maybe The Abyss has the most nuance in terms of character. Other than that, it's pretty straight. The dialogue is clunky, kind of weird, and he tells his story through physical stuff. It's kind of like Steven Spielberg. It's very, very similar in that way.
Yeah.
And I have to say, watching this movie, I was incredibly moved by it. I felt so much emotion through this film. It's 3 hours and 15 minutes, and it goes by like 2 hours, 2.5.
Yeah.
And you don't really, as it's ending, you're not ready for it to end. In fact, something I've been criticizing movies a lot, especially blockbuster films, is that they don't know how to wrap up the third act. It just kind of hangs.
Right. Yeah.
And it doesn't end. And it's just like, okay, I know where you're going. Just do it.
It's interesting. Yeah. It's that and comedies for me. Like comedies, like it's just like, I enjoyed it, but it's like, then they just do a silly thing at the end to resolve it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know
Wrap
what
it
you mean.
up.
Yeah.
This movie is like, if there's any criticism on the runtime, is that it has, I guess, what I would call a prologue in the beginning.
Okay. Yeah.
Which because you're trying to catch up an audience from 13 years ago, and there's a long narration, and then it reintroducing you to kind of like where you are in the story. And I think that takes 30 to 45 minutes, somewhere around there. I think you could have cut you cut in the front. The back is incredible. The
Okay.
ending is absolutely magnificent. And this is really a movie about family, number one. And you completely buy in. You're completely invested in this family and their story. And the Jake Sully character is a star, number one. And Sam Worthington, who I think is really underrated. I think he's a really good actor. I don't know why he didn't. Everything I see him in, I really like. I guess he had
and
that
it doesn't
Terminator.
seem like he's in much.
Yeah, he was
like
in the
anymore,
Terminator
yeah.
movie. I guess that didn't do very well. He's in a. By the way, he's in a Netflix series. I can't. It's sort of like the Mindhunter series. It's something like that. He's like a profiler in the FBI. I forget the name.
Gotcha.
Of it,
Yeah.
but, I would recommend that to anyone. The visuals are incredible. If there's one critique, I would say I saw this in Dolby 3D, and I think one thing I don't like is high frame rate. It kind of just jars me. It takes me out of it. That in 3D, there's times where it just looks like a video game. It doesn't look like a film.
Yeah.
I don't like high frame rate, so that is
Same.
it kept. I think it would have honestly to recommend. I mean, if you want to see it in 3D, go for it because the high points are high. But I think just as a pure like film going experience, you might get more out of just like a regular viewing.
Well, it's funny because in our local theater, Dolby. I want to see it in Dolby, but it's only in 3D. And I looked it
Mhm.
up for the four people in my family. It was $90
Yeah, it's
for the
like,
four
like
of us.
20
This
bucks a ticket. Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Like,
It's
and
outrageous.
I was on a cruise, so I couldn't catch the press screening, which I could have got in for free with my son. And now my daughter all of a sudden wants to see it. So like,
Yeah.
it's just like, yeah, it's ridiculous. But anyway,
It's
yeah, I
it's
was
a
just pissed off. Otherwise, I would have seen it this weekend and reviewed it with you. But I was just pissed off at the price. And yeah,
it's a lot of money for, yeah, I think it was just me and my wife. It was $40.
yeah,
It's
it's
like,
like
Christ.
so
And
insane.
it's a commitment. It's a 3 hour and 15 minute movie plus trailers. So you're looking at nearly 4 hours.
Yeah.
It's half your day. So
Do you have to? Do you recommend watching the first one again?
you don't have to. It's kind of like a Marvel movie where you don't have to, but it helps.
Okay, yeah. So it doesn't really enhance it, but you get some additional context, maybe.
I think it does help, but you can experience the film without seeing the first one.
Because
Yeah.
honestly, I've only seen the first one once in the theater in 2009. So yeah, it's been a long time for me. I want to give it a rewatch, but at this point, I probably won't. I mean, I'm definitely going to go see it in the theater because my kids are bugging me.
It wouldn't be a bad thing to just like throw on like on a random night where like everyone's kind of doing stuff. Just throw it on and just have it on the background. That would be my minimum recommendation. I mean,
Yeah.
it is a sequel, so it'd be nice to.
I know the last act of that, it feels like of the first one, kind of like with the guy, I forget the actor's name, but the guy in like that robot thing, like walking around, just
Yeah, his
kind of
last name
annoyed
is
me.
Lee. I forget his name.
Yeah, but yeah,
So that's like the least important. If you could,
Yeah.
if you can like catch maybe the first half of it,
yeah,
that's really the most crucial stuff.
gotcha.
And so all the underwater stuff that you've heard is there. It's
Is it so?
fantastic.
Did they make sense that it's the way of water?
It
Like
does.
that's
It
why
all
it's
makes
called
sense.
the way of water. Okay. Um,
It's hard to describe this movie. It's a very at its heart is a really emotionally grounded film, which seems wrong because it's a very simple story with you have antagonists and a villain who was actually a bit better than this villain. And I don't want to say anything. This villain is a little bit better than the first villain because it has a little bit more motivation.
no
But
pressure, but do you know the actor who plays the villain in this? I mean, it doesn't matter if you know.
I don't
or
want to
not.
spoil it.
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
Uh, and and there is one part. This is a critique of the film. Cameron really leans into, which I don't really like. It gets overplayed, which is like the military lingo. You know what I'm saying? Where he has like people on. This is like going back to Aliens, going back to maybe Terminator a little bit, maybe some True Lies, where it's like you have, and especially the first Avatar, where you have like, yes, sir, we're going to do this, hoorah, or whatever, and then they have these characters who are just like they're just regurgitating cop talk, military talk. It's lame.
It's like
They
things you
almost don't even need to
expect
say
in
it.
things you expect in the 80s and early 90s.
Yeah,
like,
he's still doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is one portion of this film because I don't want to spoil it and give away too much what it is, but I thought it was too much. There was a cruelty and evil glee to the antagonists that I found borderline offensive.
And
What they were doing.
Really? So like offensive to the
It-
story or just like offensive
My
to
sensibilities.
Okay.
Cameron was pushing. He does straight villains and just makes them straight evil.
straight evil, yeah.
Yeah, and in this situation, he pushed in this scene and scenario, he pushed it too far.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, they were
Like-
taking a little too much delight in their evil, which I
Is
found.
it almost like where like wow, kids watch this kind of thing?
Yeah, it
Wow.
was too much.
Yeah, that's interesting. Okay. Yeah, it's good to know.
But beyond that,
But so
what?
the villain, but overall did the villain have motivations?
Mhm.
Yeah, so clear
motivation.
motivations. Okay,
a much better motivation than the first movie.
okay.
Um,
So how would you compare this to the first movie as in your overall enjoyment?
So the first movie, like I said, I love the concept of the Avatar. Just got my brain churning. You're sort of over that by the second movie, so that little bit was missing.
Yeah.
Um, so intellectually is less. There's like there's less brain and more heart in this film.
Gotcha.
This movie is all heart.
Interesting.
It's the underwater stuff, the family, the way they're interacting in the water and learning about their like new place where they're living. That's not a spoiler. There's a lot there that's just and how this family comes together and overcomes what they have to. It's brilliant. Honestly, it's brilliant.
Just seeing. Go ahead. No,
No, no,
I don't
go.
want you
You
to
no,
lose
ask.
your thought.
Ask. No, ask.
No, I was just gonna say, go like after just seeing this sequel, do you understand how there's gonna be like two or three more?
Yes.
Okay,
This movie
I was
just
just
this movie ends. This movie resolves itself, but there's more to go. And
okay.
I
So
didn't think that was possible.
yeah, that's
And
what I was wondering. I was like, how is he gonna make three or four more movies out of the
Yeah.
first one? Like, so it like you're like, okay, I know they can go in this direction, like
I mean, there's definitely going to be a third. And from what I heard, they shot it together concurrently
yeah.
or something.
Well, because I think the next one comes out next year. I want to say like it's a double, right?
I think they're going to have
I
to
might be wrong,
reshuffle
but
things for a fourth
yeah.
if they're gonna do it. But I really, I was very much moved, much more moved by this film than I thought possible. I
That's
was moved
awesome.
by the first film. I really was because I grew to like the main character, and when he was achieving something and had an opportunity to kind of grow out of his like limited body and connect to these other people and to this world, I thought that was really satisfying.
Yeah.
When he was doing that. This second movie, it's really just it's a father. It's a father trying to protect his family. That's the story, and doing everything he can to avoid bloodshed and conflict. And then when it comes to it, you have to all come together and overcome it. I
Well, go ahead.
no say
We're great at this. We're great at interrupting each other. No, I was just gonna say like because my main takeaway from the first one was just the digital effects because of I saw it later in its theatrical release when all the hype
was
was
over.
around it. So like when I saw it, I was like, yeah, visually it's great. And then I was just like, it was a movie, and then I agreed with the people who said it's Dances with Wolves, Pocahontas, that whole thing.
But Dances with Wolves is a good movie.
It is, yeah, yeah.
So let's not,
Yeah, I it's a good movie. I'm not a big Kevin Costner guy, but which again, for the 80th time, I will watch Yellowstone.
That's why you're not watching it because of Costner.
No, maybe I don't know. Maybe
I've given
subconsciously.
up on.
I know. One day though, I'll say, Dave, guess what? This character did that to that character. Remember that? And you'll be like, you watched it.
I'll literally shit my pants if you watch it. Anything in the Yellowstone verse.
So no, I'm loving. This makes me. My kids begging me, has been just like, all right, we'll see it. But now, Uncle Dave says is being passionate about it. Now I really want to. I mean, I wanted to see it just because, first of all, the hype around it. Just it's 13 years later, and yet it's still getting like even Oscar buzz, like Best Picture. I mean, Oscar buzz is, and it'll most likely be nominated for Best Picture. I don't know about winning, but
No,
do you see this as an Oscar movie? You think it'll
get nominated and win something? It certainly should.
I mean,
Look, if you want to get out of your house and forget about your life for 3 hours, go see this movie. You will be completely transported into another world.
Yeah.
I mean, 100%. It's 100% immersion and out. And you will surprisingly love these blue people more than you ever thought you possibly could. And there's beats. Cameron is very much like George Lucas. He tells very classic stories.
Yeah.
There's nothing complicated about what's going on. I mean, you're gonna get versions of Terminator. You're gonna think somewhat of The Abyss. You're gonna see some Titanic in this. A lot of Titanic probably. But it's all going to work because there's an incredible attention to detail in how things are processed, the sets, the sequences. I mean, I almost want to say nobody shoots action better than Cameron. When when you're going from thing to thing to thing, you get it. You're
Yeah.
not just like waiting around for something to blow up. It's like sort of it's strange. It's in that weird like it's kind of dumb but awesome, kind of
Yeah.
thing. But where
No.
he gets you is with the heart.
Yeah.
I'm completely invested in these characters. The reason why, Ben, after quitting 2 times, I come back is my love for movies and the way they move me. And I'm not ashamed to admit that I cry during movies. When I watch It's a Wonderful Life, I'm crying within the first 20 minutes, and I'm hiding it from my wife how much I'm crying. When I watch Raging Bull at the end, I'm crying for the character and also crying for my own regrets. Um, that's just me.
Yeah.
Uh, I get affected by this stuff, and I'm telling you, I was crying off and on for
Yeah.
I know it's cringy. We're like, man, when this happened, I shed a tear. That is lame, but this
No.
movie moved me to tears.
I mean, if we do a movie show and people listening love movies, like that's the beauty of movies, the emotions it pulls out of us, the like even the offensive stuff Cameron did in this movie that pulled something out of you,
Yeah,
like that's
it did.
still
It got a visual. That's exactly the point.
yeah,
He is incredible at maybe it's hitting me over the head with a concrete block, but he got the reaction that he wanted out of me.
yeah, exactly.
It when it was a
So
strong reaction every time.
yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, but yeah, I mean that's the beauty of movies. I mean, yeah, they make you cry, they make you laugh, they make you cringe, they make it's just it's you're watching someone else's experience, and it's just you're in it for the ride. So
I
that's
think
awesome, man.
I don't think I've given anything away. I'll close with this. At the end of the film, the end credits is an animation sequence of underwater stuff. Let's just say that.
You don't have to stay for the story. It's just
Yeah, yeah, right.
visual thing.
And
Okay.
that's exactly where I was going, which is, and I start paying attention to this at the end of the film. What is it? What do people do when the movie's over? For a Marvel film, we're trained like seals to sit and wait for the end credit. When in reality, the story's over. We just want to get the fuck out of there,
Right.
right? I mean, we want to leave. When Top Gun Maverick ended, everybody got up, and it felt like, everyone's gonna like run through a brick wall. We're like gonna run out into the football field and destroy
Right.
it, whatever, kind of a thing. And then when I saw Don't Worry, Darling, that I think that was one of the last movies I saw before this. Well, other than screeners, people were like climbing to get. They couldn't get out of there fast enough. In this film, it's about a 2 or 3 minute sequence of just credits. I don't think anyone left. They just sat there and
Yeah.
watched it. It wasn't actors. It wasn't dialogue. They knew there were no post credits. And my wife said, she said I was a ball of cry and just couldn't
Yeah.
handle it. She's like, this movie was almost too intense for me. She said this was just everyone just chilling out and taking it all in. Mind you, this is a movie. It's now 3:45 in the afternoon. The movie started at noon, and we might have maybe got there earlier. Our day is like winding down.
I know you almost missed the early bird special. Oh my
Yeah, exactly.
goodness.
For my old age discount, you'd think people would be like, "Okay, I've been here long enough." Everybody took a piss break, by the way.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, how do you not?
Everyone's taking a piss. But you'd think for that long sitting in a theater, you'd be like, okay, I'm done. I'm getting out of here. And no,
Yeah.
everyone sat there. It was almost meditative on what this film did to everybody. So
That's what I've noticed about movies is, great movies is sometimes you need a moment to just sit there. And if it's a really good movie, like you just sit there and enjoy the music of the credits. Like you need to process, and that's the beauty of credits in that regard, not waiting for an end credit scene. It's just like, wow, I'm just sitting here. Whereas, with the Fablemans, like we were sitting there because we were trained. Like, and then I was like, I told my wife, I was like, oh, there's not going to be anything after this. What do we sit? Let's go.
Let's get out of here. Yeah.
It's like, what are we doing? Like,
And
we noticed we were sitting there for a minute, and then it was just like, oh wait, let's just go.
let's leave. Yeah.
There's not going to be anything after the Fablemans. Like,
Right. Yeah. This was not like
but that says something about the Fablemans. Is I also didn't want to sit there after the credits because it didn't make me feel anything then.
Right, just like, I want to get out of here. Yeah.
Yeah, just like, all right, let's get out.
And I'll tell you, it was a slow exit. It was a really interesting experience. It's something that I try to pay attention to. Nobody left.
Yeah.
For a really long. Now, again, if you didn't like the first Avatar, if this world just doesn't work for you, I get it. If you didn't connect, if you really thought the first one was shit, then you're probably not going to like this one, and that's okay. I love you the same. If you thought it was overrated or whatever, I don't know. For me, my God, this thing hit me on a completely emotional level. I cried probably 2 or 3 times throughout the last 45 minutes. Just
That's crazy.
Tears of just. It's not just that I'm sad.
It's emotion. Like
it's just pure. It's just evoking something inside me. Right. Exactly.
Right. Yeah. No, I totally get it. I don't know if you know this about me, but I'm a movie fan as well. So I
don't think so.
I don't know.
I never would have thought.
We'll test it out. Yeah, it's funny. The one though Marvel movie though that made you sit there at the end not due to an end credit scene was Infinity War.
Yeah,
because the heroes lost, and then it's just like slow. Thanos looks into the sunset. Boom. Cut the
That's
black,
one where you're,
and then you're just sitting there, just like, holy crap! Like I'm even getting chills thinking about that. Like that's why Infinity War to me is just like a masterpiece.
You don't want to get up because you're like, wait, did this just happen?
Yeah,
like, you're not sure like what to do.
And then the balls to do that was just like, it's so great.
Yeah.
So that's awesome, man. Yeah, you make me want to go see this right now. Actually, so
I hope you love it. I really think your family will love it. I think, and really the messaging about the film, it's very traditional. If my way of saying, if you're worried about woke, not whatever that word means, this is not woke.
Yeah.
You have strong male characters and you have strong female characters. No one
just like in 1977 with Star Wars, like. Well, I'm just saying, like, people, come on, like we've had
the people.
This isn't new.
Like, these are aliens, whatever, and they just act. They just act like people. And maybe this is the only way we can tell real people is if we put them in an alien setting. My favorite, there's a little girl. I forget her name because and honestly, I will say this: I don't know any of the characters' names other than Jake Sully. There's a little girl. If anyone sees it, I forget who it is. She's the youngest daughter. I absolutely adore this character. I fell in love with this little character.
Little blue girl.
Yeah, whoever she is, whoever the voice actress is, fantastic. Love it.
How would you rate it? 1 out of 5 stars. 1 out of 5 buckets of popcorn.
4 stars. 5 buckets of popcorn.
5 buckets of popcorn. It's that entertaining.
It's the entertainment alone, the visual experience. Your mileage may vary. You may want to pick depending if you're a weirdo like me who hates high frame rate and gets a little. I don't like the soap opera effect. And 3D can be a little jarring. However, it's kind of worth it when they go underwater. It is just glorious. And the world. This is a living world where everything. It's like you're. Whatever like fantasy of say, I don't know, whatever primitive culture on Earth where it's told we're like, we're one with the world kind of a thing.
Yeah.
It's like that, but it's actually real. And you kind of get that from the first one where everything literally is interconnected. And you get that relationship much harder in this film. And I think they revolutionized underwater photography, which I don't know who needed it, but I needed it when I saw it because it was amazing. It legit was amazing.
You made me you make me want to see it even
you're
more.
Gonna hate it, and that's okay. I'm still gonna
I can't wait to text you and be like, dude, like, why'd you waste my time? I wasted $90 on this. You told me you owe me $90. So but seriously, no, I mean, I wanted to see it before this review, but I want to see it even more now. So I
Yeah.
appreciate that. Good stuff. So
Well, that is it
definitely
for major
high recommend.
blockbusters. I would
Yep.
love. Oh,
I
sorry.
mean,
Go.
no, I was just gonna say, Babylon. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not really an indie. I mean, it's Paramount. It's a I wouldn't yeah, it's definitely not a blockbuster. It's Oscar bait, but
Kind of
on a higher
medium
level.
level.
Yeah.
We've got a established director that both of us
Yeah.
very much love. Damien Chazelle. We've got Whiplash, fantastic. Uh, I mean, we got
First Man,
First
La La
Man,
Land.
La La Land. First Man, whatever the hell was wrong with people on First Man,
Yeah, that was robbed just
but just
awards
robbed by
wise, but
everybody.
just people, I don't know.
What
Ryan
happened?
Gosling is amazing in that movie. It's got an amazing ending, amazing story, and it's just
If there's an
but
underrated list, that
yeah.
belongs on it. Like I can
Yeah.
see, I wouldn't put Whiplash on underrated because most people who see it love it. It just doesn't feel like anybody saw First Man. I don't know why or how, but I thought it was fantastic.
Um, yeah. So, needless to say, just like Fableman, Spielberg, like this, Damien Chazelle, he's the director I'm waiting for now. Like
Yeah.
he's, him and Denis Villeneuve. They're the directors I'm looking forward to. So, needless to say, I was extremely excited for this one. Now, before I say what I'm going to say, because I'm not getting into spoilers, like, not to put you on the spot, but like, what are your main takeaways from what you've read so far?
About Babylon,
Yeah.
I've really only seen the trailer. I didn't look at any
Okay.
reviews.
Okay. I wasn't sure if you saw any blurbs or anything.
I don't
or-
think so. I think I try to
Yeah.
stay away because remember,
Yeah.
I don't care about movies.
Yeah. You
that
don't.
could be good. You know.
Yeah. You don't like movies. Exactly.
I saw the trailer and I thought, oh, this could be fun.
Yeah.
My secondary thought was I love Brad Pitt. Thirdary thought was is Margot Robbie getting overexposed.
I will definitely get into that. So, so I asked that because I don't want. I'm gonna repeat many of what is out there. I mean,
Okay,
first
so
of
I
all,
haven't heard what's out there. So go
this
ahead.
is
Consider me a babe
another.
in the woods.
Yours was 3 hours something. This movie's 3 hours. I think
Oh, really?
8 minutes. Yeah, this is a long movie, dude.
Oh no.
But I will say, it does not feel as long as it is because it is so fast paced. Like
Really?
it starts off with boom, you're in it. Like it's just like what is happening? Like at first I'm annoyed by it. At first
Is it kind of like Elvis
the movie or the
in
man?
terms of the pace? Because Elvis was like rapid fire.
No, it's apples and oranges, really.
Okay.
Just because of it's just different kind of thing. Like, I mean, it's no spoiler. I mean, it starts with this huge, extravagant party in old Hollywood, and it's just boom, 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 and gratuitous that, vulgar this, vulgar that. It's it's again, it almost feels like it's being gratuitous for gratuitous sake. That's why I'm saying like I was getting annoyed by it.
Like overindulgent.
All right. Yeah. But I'll get it by the end, it makes sense. This movie's very meta by the end. That's all I'll say about that. It's very meta.
You can't tell me how it's meta.
It's no, because it has to do with the endings, and I can't wait till you see it because I want to see how you feel and if you agree with me there.
So from what I understand, the premise is it's transitioning into from the talkies into the viewies or the viewies.
Into the viewies. Yeah, so it's the transition from the silent era to the talkies. Starts off and Brad Pitt is so there's basically kind of four main characters. Brad Pitt is the one who's the highest paid star in silent era history. Like he's the guy.
Okay.
There's Margot Robbie, who's the up and comer. Well, she's not even anything at the start of the film, but she's just trying to make it in the business now.
Got it.
And then there's Diego Luna, who is fantastic in this film. Might be the highlight of the movie, acting wise. Diego Luna, he's a helper at this party. He's just helping out. Flea is in this from Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Okay,
That's kind of who
Flea,
he works for. It's kind of who he works for in this movie, and but he wants to be part of movies. He wants to be on set, and then so yeah, I mean, yeah. So those are the three main characters. So you get them all involved, but yeah, it's just this extravagant party, and it's just so much going on. But then, and that's what I wanted to say when you mentioned prologue with Avatar. Like this prologue, holy crap! It's just like everything's happening, and then all of a sudden, Babylon is on the title screen. It's like, what? Like, I feel like we've been in this thing for an hour. Like, what? How are we doing this? A super long prologue to this film.
Interesting.
But for me, it paid off. You know, and it went by fast. It didn't feel like 3 hours. Another takeaway, I feel like I keep saying one takeaway. Another takeaway I have is it almost feels like this is a Damien Chazelle directed / Tarantino written script. Like there's so many moments in this film that could be short films.
Okay, so like character conversations kind of thing?
Yes, in just like these moments, like in Inglourious Bastards when they're down in the basement and Michael Fassbender, is kind of having this game with the Nazi, and they are just it's like you're pulling a rubber band, and it's like when it's gonna snap, and it's like there's those kind of moments in this movie, which
because I think Chazelle he wrote and directed.
He wrote and directed this. Yep.
Now, do you think this was this the right movie for him to make? Do you think this was? I mean, I'm just trying to think.
This movie's not going to be for everyone. It's for Damien Chazelle. I think it was. Like I would nominate him for best director, best writing, best screenplay. But I can see the issues people have with it. The length, the gratuitousness, what seems like just like, what are we watching? Like what's happening?
Yeah, so it's like sort of interesting. Does it not like? Is it not coherent into a one arcing story? Or
I can see why people say that, but for me, I didn't feel that way.
Okay, like
I've seen people say it's incoherent. I didn't think so. There's one part. There's Tobey Maguire's in this. He's but it's a very small part. He's a producer on the movie, and he's been in the trailers and everything. The whole part with him was very intriguing, but it was like pulled out of, like, it seemed like it belonged in a different movie.
Okay.
So that was another short film. Like I was saying, like I enjoyed it. Like,
yeah.
There was tension.
The way it was acted and the way it was shot, you appreciated. Yeah, I get you.
It's in the tension building, and but it's just it's a celebration of cinema. It's the people transitioning from being used to this one thing and then moving on, and then it's got this great kind of aspect of, like, the movies we get today, which you love indies and stuff, but like the work all these people had to do to get the movies we had today is just like, it's just like you appreciate cinema even more, for me. So
there's anyway, like a celebration of film.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's like, while you're watching it, it's just like, oh my God, this is so stressful. But then you realize, like this had to happen in order to make Star Wars, in order to make the avatars, like they had to go through all this. They had to go through these transitions, you know.
Is
It's
it tragic like Sunset Boulevard?
uh
Because that seems like a
there's
very similar theme.
yeah, it's got aspects of Sunset Boulevard. It's got aspects of Singing in the Rain. It's got it pays homage to a lot of those movies.
I love Singing in the Rain. But
Yeah, and it's you'll see.
all right, I know you're trying to give it too much away. It sounds like
I'm trying not to give too much away, but basically, what I mean by appreciating what they went through, like there's this whole scene of just them taking take after take after take after take. Margot Robbie's trying to get it right because it's brand new. Like she has to be right on the microphone, and hit her mark, and but she's talking too loud. Oh, now she's talking too quiet. Like she's, it's like, but it's like a total Tarantino-esque type of scene. Like boom,
that.
boom, boom, boom. Yeah.
Plus now you have characters who whisper their lines, and it comes across, at like super high volume. Now that's not a problem anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Like where they had to adjust, and again, it just shows the work. Now, Margot Robbie, she's a great actress, great in this movie. It's just she's playing. I feel like lately she's just playing the same character over and over. New York type. She's like Australian or from New
Australian,
Zealand.
I think.
One of the two. Yeah.
I'm beautiful and I'm going to charm you.
It's not necessarily that. It's just I got this New York accent.
Oh, like tough girl.
I'm totally exaggerating. Kind of like the Harley Quinn accent, but like, and then it's just like, Harley Quinn accent and tough girl type of thing. And it's just like, I just feel like she's just playing the same character now. Mm-hmm. But there's moments in this movie where it's just like, okay, she deserves to be nominated. Like it's just one of those things. But, Diego Calva, he's, again, the up and comer, I can see in real world, he's going to be an up and comer. Like every time he was on the screen, I was just drawn to it, and the cinematography is beautiful in this movie. Like,
tell me about Brad Pitt.
Brad Pitt, love him. He doesn't do anything totally not Brad Pitt, like when you get Brad Pitt, you get Brad Pitt. Like, and I love Brad Pitt. So
we all like it normally.
Yeah. But there's aspects of it. Like, I love what they do with his character. Like, cause he was the star of silent film era, goes to talkies. You do the math. Like it's not going to be an easy transition.
Okay.
And the things they do with his character, like he has a great conversation with Jean Smart. She's from Hacks.
Yeah, I know her. Yeah.
Yeah. And there's this great monologue she has, that again, I'm not going to say anything, but it's just a fantastic monologue. But again, I can see how people think this is incoherent. It's too fast paced. I get it. I was feeling that at first, but then, like I said, when it ended, I was like, makes sense. Like, I get it. Okay. But yeah, what were you going to say?
Is there any jazz music in this film? Damien Chazelle movie.
We get it, Damien Chazelle. You like jazz. That's what I'll say. Not that I was annoyed by it in the movie, but it was just like, we understand you like jazz. Actually, that's kind of another main character in the movie is the trumpet player. He's originally at the party. I explained at the beginning. Yeah. He has a story arc that's actually very interesting. I want to find his name. I feel bad that I don't know his name. But yeah, he has a great, what
are you left feeling at the end of this film?
Just, I love movies. It makes you appreciate cinema, appreciate movies, and what was involved in doing it. Like, the ending is almost 2001-esque.
Oh man.
So I'll leave you with that.
Okay.
It's a little bit like that. I think you'll get what I mean when you watch it. Um, but and again, the meta-ness, I feel like I need to explain more, like it
Yeah, but
being
I
meta.
gotta see it.
Yeah, like even like people listening who, again, I'm gonna try to release this tomorrow, so people won't. It comes out Friday at the time of this recording. I've already seen it. Comes out Friday. But no, but yeah, I hope people understand what I mean by it's meta. But yeah, I enjoyed the hell out of this thing, and
How
I
does
think
it
it's.
stack up? Number one, how does it stack up?
I mean, mine, it still goes La La Land, Whiplash, and First Man, even with La La Land and Whiplash, is so different than those two,
Yeah.
and 100% different than this. I still, I love all four of his films now, but I would probably put this at number 4, but
Okay.
that's not a knock.
But you
It's
love them
just-
differently? Yeah. 'Cause
Yeah,
I love
yeah.
those. I love those 3 movies as well. So you're just not. If you
Yeah,
had
but
to
so
choose,
I feel like I'm gushing over it, but there are moments like I do feel like even though the gratuitousness had a point by the end, I felt like it was still a little. It was just like a little annoying.
where would you put it in terms of your movies of the year that you've seen?
So I just voted on our awards for Critics Association of Central Florida. It's due on Friday.
Thank you.
This is my number 2 of the
Really?
year.
So
Yeah.
wait, do I know your number one?
It's an indie movie, so probably not. It's called After Sun. It's no one's. It just hit me like a ton, not like a ton of bricks, but it just hit me in a way where I just was thinking about it and check it out. Check it out is all I gotta say.
Wow.
I
Awesome.
don't want to get into that right now just because we're running short on time here, but
Yeah.
I'll do a review on that
Yeah, do it,
movie.
man.
Maybe you watch it, and yeah,
Alright.
it's a father and daughter trip they take. It's their kind of like the last time they see each other, and it's yeah, amazing actor Paul Mescal is the dad. He's a very young dad, and it deals with memory and how we perceived our parents versus how we are when we perceived them. Like when our parents were 30 and then we're 30, it's like,
Yeah.
wait, our parents didn't know what they were doing. You know,
Yeah.
it's that kind of thing, you know, where it's very well written, well directed. It's abstract a little, but I don't know. It's a pretentious choice probably of me, but you got to see it, and I would
That's
love
great.
to know your
That
thoughts.
sounds. I think about that a lot, honestly. I'm
Yeah.
always thinking about time.
Yeah.
And maybe this is why, like, Christopher Nolan is always making time movies.
Mm-hmm.
But it's
Yeah,
like,
it's like
what? Yeah, what was my what kind of an asshole was my dad when he was 18? It's like,
right. Yeah.
you know, and you compare it. It's like it's just it's almost incomprehensible to think about.
Exactly. Like they were always grown ups and knew what they were doing, and
Yeah.
you know, well, there's, you know, they
Even
didn't
like
have
younger adults,
they didn't have any baggage. They didn't have any emotions or anything. You know,
you
they
can't
were
really
just-
know your parents before you knew them, like
right.
before
Yeah.
you were born.
Yeah.
And even then, you didn't really know them. They're on their own life cycle, which is different than yours. And then when you're going through it, yeah, interesting.
Yeah. It's a very unique and fantastic film. But also Babylon.
Yeah. So, what would you give this thing a rating? What would you rate it?
So I'll give it 4 stars. Probably 4 buckets of popcorn. I would probably give it 5 if it. There was a couple parts where it was just like, all right, come on, let's get through this. So that's why I give it a little. I don't give it quite 5 buckets.
So
But,
it was
4
indulgent.
stars for.
It was indulgent, not in terms of what it was doing, but it was indulgent and not just like leaving it alone and your point's been told kind of a thing. That's kind of what I'm hearing.
Like your point's been told, as in.
Like Chazelle, you made. Okay, I get the point of the scene. It doesn't need to be.
Yeah, that's kind of what it was. Like it was
Yeah.
just like, okay, Okay, I get it. I get it. I get what you're saying. Like
Yeah.
you didn't have to make it 3 hours 10 minutes or whatever it was. Like you could have, even if you took out 4 minutes. Like,
Yeah. But not the ideas behind the scenes.
exactly. Like, again, you understand it by the end. I feel I understood it, but in like I don't know if he was going for it being meta. Like, I understood it in a meta way, but again, I'll have to discuss it with someone who's had the privilege of watching it. But no, it's Damien Chazelle, great movie. I understand the critiques on it being overindulgent, way too much going on, all that. But for me, it worked. So there you have it.
Excellent.
All right. See you guys. Great. Yeah, can't wait to see Avatar. Hope you see Babylon. We looking forward to see what our critics group does with the awards. Who votes on what and what wins and all that. So
you're gonna hate Avatar. I'm gonna hate Babylon.
Yep, exactly.
And that's it.
Exactly. All right, folks. Well, that is it for us. You can find us at BlockbusterCast on Twitter, Blockbuster Mentality on Instagram, blockbustermentality.com is a website you can also visit.
And what would they do there, man?
I don't know. If you click it, though, we automatically get a download from
so please,
listen. So just click on the website.
Would it be of anyone's interest if maybe they could give us a review?
Yes, give us a review on iTunes. I guess according to Kevin Goatee from Sacred Cow, 2 sentences.
Yeah, he demands it's like 5 paragraphs minimum, otherwise you're shit.
Yeah, exactly. So
but we would honestly, if you guys love us, it would help a lot to just say, hey, love these guys. That's all you need. You don't have to do 1 or 2 sentences. Just say hello.
We need to sleep good at night. That you like us. We need to be liked.
I'm desperate to be liked.
Sidney Palmer is the name of the character. Jovan Adepo was the trumpet player I was speaking of.
Thank you. I'm glad we can square that up before we head out.
All right, folks. Well, that is it for me. For Dave, I'm Ben, and as always, grab some popcorn, grab some snacks. We'll catch you guys
at the movies. You can follow me at Dave_Quist, where Zachary Levi retweeted me.
Oh yeah, that's right. How stoked were you?
I'm happy because I like him as an actor, and I really hope the Shazam franchise doesn't get axed. If we had more time, we'd talk a little bit more of the DC nonsense, but maybe not.
Yeah, we'll do that soon. But yeah, no, that was awesome that he retweeted you. I was ecstatic for you.
I mean, everyone was just so happy for me.
He retweeted you. So I'm so sorry I interrupted that, but yeah, at Dave_Quist. But as always, you can grab some popcorn, grab some snacks. We'll catch you guys
at the movies.